This is my path, my journey. I'm willing to explain it all to you guys. No holding back anything. I just hope you're ready for the experience, and I just hope you can handle it.
Disclaimer. This video was intended for an adult audience only. Viewer discretion is advised. Anything you see in this video, do not attempt to recreate. This video was created for documentation purposes only. Our purpose is education. We are not justifying or glamorizing using substances. What we are doing is educating people on the substances that we have used and what it has done for us. Do not recreate or do not redo the substances we have done just because we talk about it.
What's going on, guys? So in this video what I want to talk about is something I really haven't talked about in a while, and it's about plants, herbs. Really, it's about the plants and herbs that I've really I guess fallen in love with over the past year, 2 years, however long I've been using herbs. But so I'm just gonna get right into it. So some new herbs that I've tried. Everyone was talking about kava for a long time, right? But I was kind of late on trying kava. I didn't try kava until probably about a month ago, a month or so ago. And I just ordered some kava. It's some noble kava. And, you know, tried it. And it took about 3 shells for me to begin to feel it. And, like, you know, I can push it past the 3 shells thing, obviously. But it's like, the 3 shells thing was the first couple times I tried it, because it was almost perfect at that point, and I was like, dude, that's pretty dope. Like, so many, you know, I like the effect of it for nighttime. Like, I can never use kava during the day. I couldn't use kava the way that I use kratom, for example, because kava is, I feel like I want to get shit done. You know, it's not motivating at all. It's definitely relaxing. It is definitely, honestly reminds me of, like, if you were to have some mild weed and mild kratom and kind of mix them together. I mean, I guess not really a kratom. Like, if you were to mix, like, L-theanine and cannabis together, that's almost like what I feel like it kind of is, you know, kind of in the ballpark, but just the mild versions of cannabis, you know what I mean? Like, it does have a kind of eye thing, where, like, you know how cannabis you smoke and your eyes get low? It kind of has something like that, where it's like, you start drinking kava and it's like, you can't move your eyes too fast, I guess, would be the way to put it. But there's also, Gynostema is also an herb that I've been using every single day. I only take Gynostema, like, literally I take 1 gram of Gynostema a day. Sometimes less than 1 gram, but most of the time it's 1 gram of Gynostema a day. I take it in the morning with my morning cup of kratom. I have Gynostema powder, so it's not like, you can get Gynostema tea leaves where you can make tea with them. But I just get the Gynostema leaves that are crushed into a powder like kratom, and I just ingest the leaf powder. And so I mix Gynostema, 1 gram of Gynostema, in with my 4.5 gram, you know, cup of, you know, of kratom, and then yeah, basically I've been doing that every single morning. Like, every morning when I wake up, like people drink their morning cup of coffee, that is my morning cup of tea. For the longest time before that, I was using, hold on, let me fix the camera. The longest time before that, I was using chaga mushroom. So instead of mixing the Gynostema with my kratom, I would basically make a big pot of Gynostema, coffee or tea, whatever you want to call it, but I'd brew it to the point where it's black. And with that, I don't necessarily measure as in how much chaga per cup. With that, I brew a lot in a pot, and I basically, you know, have that sitting, you know, I want it to look like coffee. I want it to look almost as black as coffee, not as black as coffee, but just about as black as coffee. And then I only use, like, probably literally, if you were to actually measure 1 cup, it'd probably be like 1 cup's worth, like literally. And then I put that in, and then I use that for the water for my kratom tea in the morning. So I was taking chaga and kratom every morning, and then for a little bit, when I first started taking Gynostema again, because I tried Gynostema about a year and a half ago, but I haven't tried. I tried the extract, and what's interesting for me personally, when I take an extract, it's always lacking something. Even a full spectrum extract. You can have a full spectrum extract, but to me, it is missing something. There's something that I get with the plant itself that I do not get with any extracts. I've tried many different Gynostema extracts, but it's so interesting to me that I used to take a gram of Gynostema extract and put that in my kratom, and I would always say that it canceled out the kratom. So I stopped using that because I would always say that it basically like canceled out the feeling of the kratom. You wouldn't really feel the kratom as much, when I mixed the gram of Gynostema extract in with the kratom tea. But it's interesting to me. And it's also that kind of made me, it didn't give me energy like they say adaptogens kind of, because that's what Gynostema is, an adaptogen. So they say adaptogens, if you don't have energy, the adaptogen will give you energy. If you have too much energy, the adaptogen will kind of slow you down a little bit and help you relax, and help balance you. What it does is adaptogens help your body adapt and balance, and I don't get that with Gynostema extract. I get that with Gynostema, the leaf. And like literally, I take a gram of the leaf instead of taking a gram of the extract. And the gram of the leaf, for me, works better. I don't know why. And yeah, the extract was technically stronger. But I don't necessarily, it depends on your definition of stronger. I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like it worked better for me. The actual adaptogen effects worked better. With the extract, it was just more of a downing thing. Like I felt a little, too relaxed. And it canceled out the kratom. What's interesting is the Gynostema does not cancel out the kratom when it's just 1 gram of the, actual leaf. And that's what I've been doing for like the past month is Gynostema and kratom. And I was doing chaga and kratom, and then I was mixing chaga, Gynostema, and kratom together, and I was taking that every morning. And it's not that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when you start mixing herbs, there's some herbs that's like the more you mix, the more you mix, the more negative side effects can come up. The more research won't help you with, because doctors and scientists and people who research these things, universities, things like that, they usually don't research combinations. They don't research this plant with this plant, what are the effects? Unless it's like, I feel like the only time they have to research that is ayahuasca, but nah, they don't like usually research mixtures. So when you're mixing things, it is more dangerous to take a mixture than it is to take a plant. But a lot of times it's more effective, and it's not that it's dangerous at all. Like herbs aren't that dangerous. Everything is dangerous. I mean, you could die off of drinking too much water. So everything can be dangerous if you are not using it correctly. But I feel like these herbs have a correct way to be used, and there's no right and wrong way to use them, but there is a correct way, because there is a way you can use these herbs and fuck up, end up in the hospital, end up with an allergic reaction, end up with this. Like there's so many things that could happen if you don't know yourself and you don't know your body. But so every morning I've been taking Gynostema and kratom, but I don't take kava that often, because it's like, for some reason, kava, like the next morning, like maybe it's because I take kratom every day and Gynostema every day, but like I feel like my stomach, like I'll have something like, I don't know, like it's not necessarily stomach pain, but it's like something. I'm very in tune with my body, so I feel like when there's something, when an herb has a negative side effect or a negative reaction to with me, then like I notice everything, when an herb has its thing. So I just don't really like that effect. And I've also noticed that I don't get dry skin with kratom. Like, I don't really get. I used to, when I would take a shit ton of kratom and not balance it with drinking a shit ton of Gatorade or water. But I don't. I balance myself. I drink a shit ton of water in the morning before I even take any herbs. Clean out myself. Before I take. Clean out my bowels before I take anything. Everything. But it's like, so I haven't had dry skin. But with kava, just a day of use. Actually, 2 days. Take that back. 2 days of using it 2 days in a row. I ended up getting this dry patch like right here on my arm, and it like kind of started itching a little bit, and then I only noticed it was from the kava because it would go away when I stopped using the kava, so like I just noticed all these little negative side effects, and I notice everything when I take herbs, and that's why there's some herbs that I take that I'm comfortable with taking every day, and some herbs that I am not, and there's a lot of herbs that I will not try because there's no need for me to try them, or maybe there's not enough research with tribes. Hold on one second, I just want to make sure this shit's still recording. Yep. Still recording. but nah, I think, so herbs are a really big part of my life because I use them every day. I feel like, pretty sure it was Socrates, but I'm pretty sure Socrates said, let medicine be thy food, let food be thy medicine, or something like that. And that is true. I think that, like, the way that I take these herbs now, I don't think about it anymore. It's like, one, I don't give a fuck what people think about me, so that helps. That helps a lot when you're using these herbs the way I am and using substances the way I am, because if I cared what people thought about me, then I would probably be self-conscious about using the plants and herbs, or using substances, or using this. It's like, since I don't care, it's fine. I just do me. But I understand that not everyone is going to take the same herbs I take. I understand that everyone has different body types or body doshas. I understand that everyone has a different personality, different things that they're going through. Some people are some people complain about sweaty palms all the time. Some people complain about cold hands all the time. And they would need 2 different types of herbs in their life. But I do think that humans, we all need to find the right herbs for our life. We all need, I feel like we have friendships, we have friend relationships, we have husband-wife relationships, we have relationships with our kids and our parents and our family, but I feel like we have no relationships with plants. I feel like you need to find a plant that suits your personality and use that shit. Connect with it. Gain a relationship with it. And then maybe you can, go from gaining a relationship with a plant to gaining relationships with plants. And, this is just what I've done. And, I don't look at these plants as I'm taking medicine or I'm taking a drug. I look at these plants the same way I look at when I'm eating spinach, the same way I look at when I'm eating kale, the same way I look at when I am eating wheatgrass or when I am eating cereal, because cereal is made of wheat, which is grass. It's no different. They're all plants, and they're all here literally to help us grow and to be there for us, right? Literally, the food that we eat helps us grow to be us. And literally, the food that we eat literally becomes us. Because your body makes new cells from the food that you eat. And I think it's like every 90 days, you have like a different thing. And I think every 7 years, you have a whole completely different body. Because I think every 7 years, all your cells in your body are replaced with new ones from 7 years ago. So it's like you have a completely different body. And those cells were built from the substances and foods and molecules that you were ingesting. And, I think that we need to find what works for us. I've also, one of my favorite herbs that I use, my favorite I guess my favorite combination of herbs is kratom, blue lotus, and motherwort. My favorite combination. Now, I used to say kratom, blue lotus, and wild daga. Either one, motherwort or wild daga, does work for me. But I definitely, I think I prefer motherwort, honestly. The original reason why I started using motherwort instead of wild daga is because I seen that, they contain basically the same molecule, but motherwort also contains starkadrin, I think it's called, or stacadrin, and also leonorine. And wild daga, I think, only contains leonorine. So like, there's another molecule inside of motherwort that's not inside of leonorine, and it's like, I think that adds to the effects. It adds to the mixture. It makes it more motherly. I feel like motherwort has a mother's vibe to it. I don't know. Has definitely a female, just a feminine energy to it, and so that's why I really love motherwort. I really love motherwort. It helps me connect. I almost feel like it's giving like a mother's love hug type shit. Just a mother's comfort, I guess. And that's kind of why I use these plants, right? I use these things because they're very, I mean, it's awesome to have Mother Nature on your side, to have your back, to be there for you, to guide you through life, to help you grow, to help you with problems, to help you stay motivated, to help you stay driven, to get you out of a bad mood, to lift your spirit up. And that's why I take these things, right? That's why I use these things. Like, there's a lot of people that use these things because, I see so many people, that, will sit here and be like, well, do these things get you high? Do they get you high? Because if it's not going to get me high, what the fuck is the point of me using it? Or then you have people on the opposite spectrum that be like, are those things going to get me high? If so, I don't want to fucking use them things. Keep them things away from me. I'd rather just go to my doctor and take, and have him, prescribe me something. But, like, there's no difference, between, I don't know. I think that we need to find plants that work for us. If we had a relationship with a plant, then we wouldn't need as much of these pharmaceuticals that they're trying to shove down our throats. Because, to them it's a money thing. That's why herbal knowledge is starting to become so rare, and they're gonna eventually try to censor herbal knowledge as well. Just knowledge about the herbs, the plants, because if you, like, motherwort is an amazing herb. Obviously, motherwort gets its name because it was used for, back in the day, it was used for more like mothers and situations that mothers have, with childbirth and things like that, after childbirth, and I think a little before. I'm not sure about before, but I know after. But it's also like, I don't know. These things have more benefits than just what they're known for. And they have more benefits than just saying, oh, this is great for anti-inflammation. This is great for this. Like, it's much deeper than that as well. I think when you're taking a plant, you're not just ingesting the drug, you're ingesting the soul of the plant. And that makes a difference. I know some people will be like, man, whatever, man. You're just taking a plant that has substances in it and it's giving you effects. And it's like, yeah, that too. But these effects benefit me in my life. Like, I can only speak for me, myself, and I. That's all I ever speak about is me, myself, and I, really. It's like these videos are, it's funny that making videos is kind of selfish because you talk about yourself all the time and your thoughts and what's going on in your head and what you want to do. But, this is just my little space to talk about what's on my mind. And plants have saved my life. Plants changed my entire life. If it wasn't for kratom, I wouldn't be the me I am today. If it wasn't for motherwort, gynostema, wild daga, blue lotus, I don't know, these herbs, I wouldn't be me. there's like a certain, I don't want to name it and say it's my top 5, but because I can't say which one's first and last, but what I can say is I have a certain amount of plants in my life that I've gained a relationship with, and I've tried many different herbs. I've tried probably 20, 30 different plants. But honestly, I only use a select few. You know, the lotus flowers, beautiful. I use white lotus more than anything, because white lotus I feel like I can use daily. Well, not daily necessarily, because I feel like the lotuses do kind of make you feel, they have like a little lotus hangover, I feel like, at the next day. You just feel a little more drained, and you kind of can just feel like, you just know you did something the night prior, if you're doing it at night. But I noticed with white lotus that doesn't happen as much. It happens way more with blue lotus, especially with the Egyptian blue water lily. And I think that's, I think it's a difference in molecules. I think the white lotus, this is just my personal opinion, but I think the white lotus has more aporphine, and I think that the blue lotus has more nuciferine. That's just my personal opinion on the different effects that it has, because the blue lotus seems to be more psychoactive in a different way. Like, and I brew these, when I brew my teas, I brew them very long. I usually brew my teas for about 2 hours, so I can get the max potency out of them, like, and, especially because I'm using the plant, so I want to get as much out of the plant as I could possibly get out of. But, I don't know, blue lotus is amazing, red lotus is amazing, white lotus is amazing, space lotus is amazing, all the lotuses are amazing. There's, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of wild dagga, clip dagga, those are some of my favorite herbs as well. I'm actually growing a bunch of clip daggas over there. I would move the camera, but I don't want to fuck up the angle and shit, but yeah, I'm actually growing, I think, like 6 or 7 clip dagga plants. I grew one last year and realized that one wasn't enough, so I grew 7 this year. But I don't know, I love the daggas, I love the effect of the daggas, and what I love to do with the clip dagga is I love to, with my clip dagga leaves that I grew, I noticed that the clip dagga that I buy online, it doesn't have the lemony smell, probably because when the leaves are dry and when they sit there for like, even if they're dry and they sit there for like, I don't know, if you don't seal them shits right and put that shit in the fridge or something while they're, freshly dried or just recently dried, then they'll lose the lemony smell, but like it has a lemon-ish smell. It almost smells like dank, you know what I mean? Like, but not as dank. But I love the clip dagga because it has bigger leaves, so I literally take the leaf, I dry it for a day so it's not that dry, it's just so it's dry enough to roll. I roll up, some cannabis in it, roll it up, and smoke it, just like you would with a backwood. And I love doing that, it's fucking amazing. But I've only been able to do that with, my clip dagga because I can never find online, clip dagga leaves that are like freshly dried, like tobacco leaves, or freshly, like, still kind of moist. But I don't know, plants have changed my entire life. Like, they're all in my life. Like, I use, I've also used Michiganine, Hirsuta, and Javanica. I like Javanica. I've used Hirsuta once, but I've used Javanica probably like 7 or 8 times, and like I've kind of got the gist of Javanica, and I like Javanica because honestly I feel like it's a little more psychoactive in the head wise and visual wise than Kratom is. Kratom is more feeling than Javanica. Like Speciosa, because they're all Michigaina plants. So Michigaina Speciosa, which is Kratom, Speciosa is more feeling, while Javanica is more, it's just more psychoactive. For a trippy guy like me, Javanica is pretty interesting. But man, I don't know, I can sit here forever talking about herbs. I don't even know how long this video is going to be, because I want to try to explain all the herbs I use, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I've also been using matcha green tea. I ordered some matcha, and basically I ordered it for my girl, really, because and I guess this is the perfect time to get this out, because I wanted to talk about this briefly. So, like, I ordered some green tea matcha for my girl because I know that that's safe for her to have, because she had an allergic reaction to Mucuna pruriens. And mucuna is a bean that contains L-dopa. Well, that's, and it also contains a few other molecules, but L-dopa is like the main molecule in it that people are looking for when they're using it. But mucuna, I never heard anyone talk about how you can have an allergic reaction to it. So I never thought of, and I know I'm not allergic to anything. Like, when it comes to taking these herbs and plants, like, I'm not allergic to anything. So, like, I feel like I'm fine taking that. Like, I'm fine trying all these things at least once. And if, like, there's a negative side effect, then, like, I wouldn't use it again. But with my girl, like, she took less than a gram. And, like, literally, it was, like, probably, like, a 0.8, and literally she had a severe allergic reaction, like, severe. We were at the hospital for a while, and it's just, it definitely made me think. I was hesitant to give her anything else. So, like, after that, we were just like, well, green tea, it is. So we got some green tea powder, because I feel like green tea powder, you'd be able to actually feel it more. When people be like, green tea doesn't do much, or when somebody says, I was tea drunk last night, they don't understand what they mean by tea drunk, because when they drink tea, they probably get, the tea from the store in tea bags, shitty tea bag tea, and then make tea with it, and then brew it for 5 minutes, and then call that tea, and then boom, and then drink it, and it doesn't really do much but give you a little energy. But green tea matcha powder, you can actually feel the plant. You can feel it, and that's my thing. I like to connect with plants, and so they connect with my feelings, and I connect with their feelings, because some plants, they enhance feeling, like motherwort, for example. Motherwort, I feel like, increases sound, but it doesn't increase sound. It almost makes you feel the sound. Motherwort's interesting because I don't know if it's the stachydrin or the leonorium, or both, or some other molecules inside of motherwort and wild daga, but this happens more with motherwort than with the dagas. It does happen with the dagas, but not as, I don't know, motherwort, it almost like dissolves the barriers between sound and feeling, and it's like I can feel the sound, not just hear it. And it's almost like I could feel it coming from a certain place. So if the sound's coming from here, I'm playing a song from right here on my phone, then the sound, I'd be able to feel it. Like when somebody hits a certain frequency, you can feel it hit the body, and the body makes it starts to feel with the frequencies. Like the feeling in your body changes with the frequencies that are going on. And this is just what happens to me. And I mean, I make my teas pretty strong, and and it's like, I'm also, and put in mind here, I'm also on mixture between, I'm always on cannabis and always on kratom. Like, I mean, either I'm always on the back end of kratom, or always on the back end of cannabis, or always on the front end of, kratom, or I was on the front end of cannabis. Either way, I use cannabis and kratom every single day. I use kratom about 3 times a day, and I use cannabis about 3-4 times a day as well. But I don't smoke that much cannabis, though. Like an eighth of cannabis will last me 4 or 5 days. On a good week. On a bad week, it'll last me about 2 days. But nah, like I feel like motherwort, for some reason I can feel the music more. Like, especially when there's like a bass or something. Like, it's interesting because I don't have a bass. I don't have speakers in my house right now. Well, I do, they're just not plugged in. But like, so I can't necessarily feel the bass bumping. But when I'm on motherwort and on these mixtures with motherwort in it, because if motherwort's not in the mixture, this doesn't happen. Then I can feel the music. I almost feel the bass, even though it's not vibrating me. I can feel it hitting me. It's very interesting, and that's why I love motherwort, because of the thing with music, the music aspect. Listening to music on it is fucking beautiful. It's amazing. But it's just interesting that all these things do different things. They don't just have one benefit. Because I've never heard anybody talk about motherwort almost like dissolving the barrier between sound and feeling. Like, I've never heard anyone say anything like that or even talk about how motherwort increases sound or makes them feel the sound more or whatever, nothing, because nobody was paying attention to that, because they paid attention to the fact that motherwort was good for mothers, and it was good for this, it was good for whatever, but they missed that part. Motherwort's not necessarily looked at as a spiritual thing. To me, any plant that I use, to me, is very spiritual because it fits me. Other people use, what's the difference between ayahuasca, and some of my mixtures, my herbal mixtures? They're both herbal mixtures. Ayahuasca contains the most powerful psychedelic on the planet, yes, but they both contain molecules and they both contain mixtures, and honestly, I feel like the mixtures that I do, like I said, my favorite mixture, blue water lily, motherwort, and kratom, but it's like, with that mixture, it's beautiful. And even take the kratom away. If you take the kratom away, honestly, it gets a little more trippy, I guess. It's still very trippy-ish with the kratom in it. It's just the kratom almost makes you more grounded, while the blue lotus would, the motherwort makes you grounded too, but blue water lily for me is very deep in the mind. If I meditate on blue water lily, it's very visual. It's I can get visuals behind my eyes. I can go through other dimensions, meet light beings from other dimensions with just using blue water lily. And the beings that I meet on blue water lily are much different than the beings that I meet on DMT or the beings that I meet on with just sober meditations. Meditations just on cannabis and kratom, but because my meditations are very visual. I don't know why, but they just are. But I definitely think that the plants have something to do with that. But yeah, plants have changed my entire life, and it's amazing. I took some motherwort and kratom probably about an hour or two ago, and yeah, I'm still feeling nice. Motherwort calms the mind down too, like anxieties. I don't have anxiety, and I don't have any of that, but if I did, I could see it calming down. The only time I feel anxiety is if I take too many herbs or if I smoke too much cannabis. But I understand anxiety is just excitement. It's energy. The same thing that you get when you're excited, when you're like, fuck yeah, bro, I'm so excited, I can't sit down, I'm so excited. It's the same thing that happens when you're anxious. You have this built up of energy and you need to do something with it. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of these plants help me be the best me I could be. Some of these plants, like lion's mane mushroom, is amazing for my cognitive thinking. I used it for 50 days straight. I did this, I took it with my morning cup of kratom, just like I do with my Gynostema, but it was just the lion's mane and the kratom, and I did that for 50 days, and my cognitive thinking was never fucking, oh my god, it was on point. My mental mind state, my memory, my just attentiveness, the fucking just being able to pay attention better and take in more information and use my brain better, it was insane. And I still feel like it helped, even though I haven't used it in about 60 days, in about 2 months. But all these herbs that I use, I've also used cordyceps mushroom. Cordyceps is amazing as well. I haven't used cordyceps in honestly about 1.5 years. I will probably start adapting some more herbs in my diet because I'm gonna invest in a blender, and I'm gonna make a smoothie every morning about 2 hours after I take my morning cup of tea. So I'm building my life around these herbs. Like, I'm putting these herbs in my life. So it's not like taking a medicine for me. Like, a lot of people will be like, I forget to take my herbs, but it's like, I could never forget to take my herbs, because do you forget to eat? And I guess some people forget to eat, like, because sometimes I'm working so hard on my dreams that I forget to eat, that I forgot that I didn't eat, and I'm like, dude, I was just working, whatever. But I'm just saying that you eat because it helps you go through life, and it gives you energy to go through life. It should be no different with these herbs. They're just a part of my life. I don't have to think about it like, oh man, I gotta take my medicine. It's not. I mean, this is medicine for your mind, not just for your body. It is medicine for the body, but it's medicine for the mind as well, and the soul as well. You know, because Ormus, before I go, I'm getting ready to go because the video is going to be too goddamn long, but Ormus is very, very interesting. Ormus, if you guys don't know what Ormus is, real quick, Ormus is monoatomic gold. Basically, gold, like actual gold, at the monoatomic level. And it's at the monoatomic level, gold is a white powder. And it's not just at the monoatomic level, gold is not just gold. You know, it's, I forget all the other fucking rhodium and or rhodium or some other whatever, but there are many different minerals that gold has, basically, and all these minerals are at the monatomic level is monatomic gold. Now, there's monatomic platinum and stuff, and I have a mixture of monatomic platinum and monoatomic gold, but it is absolutely amazing. The best mineral for your fucking soul. Like, it's not necessarily, it is a mineral for the body, don't get me wrong. Like people say that it helps regrow teeth, it helps regrow enamel, it helps with your body, it helps do this, helps do that. I mean, what it did for me, though, is the connections in my own body, like, felt better. I felt more connected. Like, you know how, like, lion's mane was, like, lion's mane for me was like the cognitive thinking thing was fucking pushed to the point, you know, to the greatest limits. But with Ormus, for me, I felt more connected. Like, the neurons in my brain were connecting better. Like literally, like, I felt it. Like, I almost felt like, you know how you have to fire neurons in your brain in order to move your hand. In order to move your hand, your brain had to fire electrical signals. And I feel like what the Ormus did for me is it enhanced the electrical signals flowing through my body. The electricity that makes my body run, it helped it flow better. Because gold is an amazing conductor, and Ormus works like a superconductor, and it superconducts the electricity, and it makes, I feel like it just also helps you be the best you. I could never take Ormus every day. If I take Ormus twice a day, I feel like I start to get some trippy effects. Honestly, like, Ormus is very very powerful. I only take like 200 to 400 milligrams, and that's my dose. And I also think it's very powerful for me because I use all these other herbs as well, and it superconducts every herb I use. So if I take Ormus in the morning and I take an herb 10 hours later, that herb 10 hours later is still going to be about twice as strong. So I take less of it, you know what I mean, if I'm on Ormus. But yeah, sorry this video is so long. I had to talk about plants and herbs because these are a huge part of my life, but I don't talk about it that often, you know. This is a fucking long conversation because I could talk about this for 3 hours straight, because I use that. I mean, they're just that big a part of my life that, you know, they've changed my life. I've tried so many different things, so maybe I'll have a part 2 about, you know, and just continue this conversation. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys made it this far, you are fucking amazing. Thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.